Welcome back to the 70th episode of the BatChums podcast. I'm Drew Leiter, and joining me tonight is my co-host, the man, the myth, the new legend, Mike Gordon.
Howdy! It's our final episode of 1966.
Yes, we finally made it to the end of the year.
Yeah, yeah.
so
Onward to
this
1967.
so this is Batman season 2 episode 34, The Catwoman Goeth. Episode aired Thursday, December 29th, 1966, directed by George Wagner with capital G's, and written by Ellis St. Joseph and Charles Hoffman.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. This is not to be confused with the Catwoman Goth, which is something completely different.
Now, when we last left the dynamic duo, Sandman was preparing to deliver a sleepy Robin into Catwoman's clutches. Meanwhile, Batman was tied to a mattress above which the wicked needle of a button stitch device was bearing down on him. Holy acupuncture! Will Batman survive the needle? Only one doctor has the cure. Magic Batman.
Doctor, that's Dr. Magic Batman to you, Drew.
Yeah, Dr. Magic Batman. Okay, Dr. Magic Batman. Will Batman survive the needle? The Dark Knight says right.
Okay. We didn't mention it, I don't think. Well, I don't think we spent a lot of time talking about it last week. But as far as traps goes, as far as cliffhangers goes, I didn't find the needle that threatening. The mattress needle that threatening. It just seemed to be going at random spots on the mattress. And yeah, I mean, it would have been painful, sure, but it didn't seem to be now, unless he got it like right in the heart or the head or something. It didn't seem like it was going to be that. I don't know. It just seemed like it was kind of weak. Um, I don't know how you felt about it, but
Yeah, I'm not going to argue with you. I mean, it was okay. I mean, I wasn't. I don't know. I have to agree with you. It didn't seem that life-threatening, did it?
yeah, I mean, when typically they are like going to be boiled in acid or fried up and they're on a spit, they're on a over a fire or something like that. I mean, it's pretty gruesome. But this just seemed kind of like okay.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, I mean, Sandman's new to town, so he doesn't really know how really like, dangerous he has to make these things, I guess.
The stitching needle punches through the leather strap, holding down Batman's left hand, freeing it. Next, the needle moves right near Batman's head. Batman moves it as the needle bears down right where his head was.
See, that's the thing. Like if it's coming towards his head, he just moves his head. Like
Yeah,
it didn't seem like it was that threatening. I mean, even if he hadn't gotten free. And by the way, I guess it must be pretty powerful. Have you ever tried to put a needle through leather? That is not easy. So
no, it's not.
the fact that that needle like went right through the leather straps, I mean, and broke them, that's pretty powerful. So maybe I'm just looking at it from that perspective, but yeah, I did think it was kind of cool. I mean, Batman kind of gets out of it on his own. No real big tricks here. He just uses his, kind of his wits to get out of this.
Yes. Taking off his utility belt, Batman whips it around the on off switch and shuts off the device. Batman is able to free himself.
Wonder how long that took to take. Like how many takes that took. Like it just seemed like he just was like whoop, trying to like throw it over there. And I don't know, maybe I don't know, maybe Adam is pretty good at that sort of thing. But it seemed to me that that could have taken like a whole afternoon.
Possibly. At Catwoman's lair, Sandman delivers a sleeping Robin to Catwoman. Robin informs Catwoman that Batman is dead. He pushed the switch that killed him. Catwoman orders Kitty to take Robin and tells him that he will find his next adventure most amazing.
Yeah, a couple things here. One is I think it's the inconsistency with someone else writing Catwoman, but she doesn't seem that really distressed that Batman is dead. Maybe she doesn't believe it, and that's certainly reasonable. But she also, we know that she hates Robin, and she does kind of play it up here, but it doesn't seem like it's as she's as angry about it, as angry at Robin as she usually is. So I think it's just a telling of how differently it's written. Now, I also want to point out too that we mentioned some of the actresses that played some of the kittens last week, and in particular, we mentioned Kitty, who is played by Valerie Carras. Now, we mentioned that she's on a lot of Monkeys episodes, and she's even in the movie the Monkeys did called Head. So as it happens, I contacted the Monkey Around folks, Elaine and Charles, and I asked them about her, and they both recognized her, but they weren't exactly sure about her connection to the band. There's some, there's rumors here and there about, who if she was seeing one of the members or something like that, but not really anything definite. So she's still alive. So after talking to Charles, they might reach out and talk to her to see if she can come on the show. So that would be kind of cool. The other thing I wanted to point out too that one of the other kittens, Caddy, in fact, is played by Pat Becker, who we talked about before. Not only was she an actress, but after she sort of retired from acting, she became an avid animal enthusiast and an advocate for animal rights. And she produced and hosted a TV show called Dog Talk TV. And she did a lot of work with other documentaries and radio shows and stuff like that, all about dogs. And in particular, that was her focus on animal rights. And I just found it interesting because she probably had a real big kinship. I'm not sure if they stayed in touch, but of course, Burt Ward later on in his life founded a charitable organization called Gentle Giants Rescue and Adoptions, which rescues giant breed dogs, Great Danes and whatnot. And he has like his own dog food and all that kind of stuff. And he's got, a lot of awards for his work with rescuing dogs. So I don't know if the two know each other, but I thought it was kind of interesting that, plus it's kind of ironic. Here she is playing a kitten, one of Catwoman's kittens, and she's a big dog advocate later on. So, but yeah, it's no surprise that Burt Ward, who plays Robin, would become an advocate for dogs, especially after he's treated by Catwoman so horribly in the show.
Sandman informs Catwoman that it won't be long until Pauline Spaghetti's fortune is in his control. Catwoman corrects him, our control.
Sure.
Sandman tells Catwoman that he must dispose of the Batmobile and then return to Pauline Spaghetti's penthouse.
Okay, there's a couple things wrong with this. One, if you have the Batmobile, first of all, it's amazing how easily he was able to just like drive the Batmobile. We've seen several villains have problems with that before, but apparently that's not an issue anymore. At least not an issue for Sandman anyway. And he says he's going to dump it somewhere. I'm like, it's the coolest car in the world. Why would you dump it? Like, why? I don't understand that. Yeah, I don't understand. Some of the other things I can understand him doing, but that I'm just baffled.
Or you could say puzzled.
No, no, not this episode.
Not this episode.
Like, no, 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 we're not
You
we're
know,
not going back there, Drew. We're not going back to the puzzler.
the Sandman could have put the Batmobile security system to sleep or something. Maybe that's why it's so easy to steal.
Wow, I think you put a lot more input into that joke than they did in this entire episode.
Catwoman tells Caddy that there is something I knew I was going to mess up that word. Insidiously untrustworthy about Sandman, where whereas he
You
has
think?
only yeah, whereas he only has one life, she wonders if he realizes that a cat has nine lives.
Yeah, we see. I mean, it was kind of foreshadowed in the beginning in the first episode, but yeah, two villains working together, that never ends well for either one of them.
Nope. With Batman and Robin out of the way, Sandman tells his henchmen that all he has to do is put J. Pauline Spaghetti to sleep again and purloin that billion-dollar fortune. Snooze states that purloin seems more of a Catwoman word. Sandman tells him to never fear. He will he will have the last word, and that's the word that counts.
Mm. It really kind of builds up that the two of them are really going to face off. Yeah, so we're really looking forward to that, right, Drew?
Yep. In the depths of the newly renovated catacombs, Robin begins to wake up, wondering about Kitty's golden leash. Catwoman appears and tells Kitty to creep out softly. That was a weird scene with Robin playing around with that leash around her neck. I never noticed any other time in the episode the leash, but except there. I don't know if I missed it or it just wasn't there any other time.
Well, we do know that, like I said, Brett Ward has a thing for dogs and leashes, so we'll just leave it at that.
Robin wonders where he is. Catwoman answers that he is at the threshold of her maze. Robin states he is not going into the maze. Catwoman pulls out a catamizer gun, warning Robin that if he doesn't go into the maze, she will shoot him with the deadly acid and he will be killed in seconds. Reluctantly, Robin enters the maze. After Robin enters the maze, Catwoman throws on an electric shock switch. The maze is now electrified. Holy voltage! Robin discovers the hard way that the fences are electrified.
Yep.
After freeing himself, Batman calls Commissioner Gordon, telling him that he believes that Sandman has turned Robin into a sleepwalker. Commissioner Gordon offers to have his force search for the boy wonder, but Batman tells him no. He will find Robin and Sandman. Batman wants Commissioner Gordon to give J. Pauline Spaghetti maximum protection. Batman must get to the Batcave as quick as possible. Instead of wasting the taxpayers' money by sending a patrol car, Batman is going to take Gotham City's public transit line.
Yeah. Um,
That wouldn't make any sense for him to have a patrol car take him to the Batcave.
yeah. Yeah. Could you please just drop me off at Wayne Manor? No, no, wink, wink. Nah, that's no reason.
Commissioner Gordon tells Chief O'Hara with Robin kidnapped, the Batmobile missing, J. Pauline Spaghetti somehow in dire danger, with Catwoman and Sandman mostly deeply involved, it looks like their side has fumbled the ball.
Yeah, that's well delivered. I did like that scene.
Batman runs into the Batcave to find Alfred dusting the Alf cycle, giving him a startle. Batman explains he took the subway to Wayne Station and then bat walked up the road.
I a couple things. First of all, there's a Wayne station. There's that many people going to Wayne Manor that he has his own subway station. Very strange. It is funny to see him just walk into the Batcave. And also, I had no idea, Drew. I really had no idea that we would see the Alf cycle so much.
I
Uh,
know, I don't remember.
I don't remember it at all. And
Yeah, I
yet,
don't either.
this is the third time we've seen it in this season since it was introduced. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Batman and Alfred use the Batmobile tracking map to discover that the Batmobile is located in the area of some rundown factories. Alfred takes him to the Batmobile on the Alf cycle. How
Yeah,
long did it take them to
because
get there?
because that's because Robin's not in any immediate danger. So, by all means, take your time in getting to these places. So that's it's just crazy. And I like the fact that, this was the most uh this is the way that would call the least attention to him is by riding on the back of Alfred's cycle. Like, really? Like, Not in a limousine with tinted windows or anything like that. No, 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 no. This would just crazy.
It was crazy. When Batman arrives at the Batmobile, two officers have already discovered it. Officer Reggie Hogan wants to impound the car and take Batman in, but Officer Dan Dietrich stops him, telling him that he has a lot to learn. That was so silly of a scene, I thought.
Did you
They,
recognize either one, man?
I did not.
Okay, so most famously, Reggie Hogan, the one that's giving Batman such a hard time. He doesn't recognize the Batmobile. I guess one just car looks like another to him. And I'm like, man, you must be blind. Anyway, that is James Brolin.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, that's right.
yes.
I did read that in the cast.
So and James Brolin had previously appeared as a truck driver. So he's come up in the world, I guess, in The Cat and the Fiddle. So James Brolin is in another Catwoman episode, which I thought was pretty interesting. Although he doesn't interact with Catwoman here. And the other police officer is Dan Diedrich, is played by Ray Montgomery. He appeared in a bunch of episodes of Alfred Hitchcock Presents, 3 episodes, Lone Ranger, 4 episodes, The Munsters, 2 episodes. But he also appeared, most notably, in 2 episodes playing two different characters of The Adventures of Superman.
Oh,
So
cool.
this is his only foray into Batman, the Batman series, but he is one of those rare actors that we've run across that can say they appeared in both Superman and Batman TV series.
Batman tries to call Robin using the Bat radio, but Robin is still trapped in Catwoman's maze, lost and confused. Robin finds policewoman Mooney in the inescapable center of the maze.
That's kind of
Holy,
cool because I was wondering, like in the first episode when we see her disappear, then they don't even mention her again. And I was kind of like, man, what's happened to her or whatever. So it's kind of cool that they follow up with that and that she's still around and give her credit, man. She's doing a policewoman's hard work. She's surviving.
holy rat trap. Catwoman opens a ceiling hatch, telling them that once Sandman has secured the spaghetti millions, he will be joining them. So apparently she's planning on putting Sandman in her maze too.
I guess.
Batman calls Commissioner Gordon from the Batmobile with an update. Commissioner Gordon receives a second call from Chief O'Hara informing them that Sandman has taken Miss Spaghetti after putting him and his men to sleep with a stethoscope. Commissioner Gordon gets a third call from Tut Hill at the Gotham City Security Trust. Dr. Some Dr. Somnambula has left the address for Catwoman's hideout. Dr. Somnambula and J. Pauline Spaghetti have withdrawn $2 million and are eloping on J. Pauline Spaghetti's island.
So he forwards the message to Batman, like he tells a message for Batman, right? That where Catwoman's address is. Now, I question how the Sandman knows that Batman is still alive.
Yeah. He
Why would he leave a message for Batman when he thinks he's dead? So now, if he's forwarding that message to the police, that makes sense. But he's not forwarding that message to the police. He specifically says Sandman has a message for Batman, and which I found okay. Well, that doesn't make any sense. But in any case, all right. So go ahead. But maybe at this point he's already discovered that Batman is alive, and yeah. So all right. But yeah, we see that the Sandman is going to cut out and leave town and leaving Catwoman to be picked up by the police and Batman. Now, unfortunately, this means that we don't get a Sandman versus Catwoman head-to-head final match, final scene, which I think is kind of a shame. But yeah,
yes, because they
like
built it up so much that
they kind of did. They kind of did. You're right. So it is kind of unfortunate, but
Batman confronts Catwoman in her lair, informing her that Sandman and J. Pauline Spaghetti are eloping. Batman demands to know where Robin is. Catwoman tries to distract him, stating he is strong and forceful, but Batman is determined. Batman agrees to testify on her behalf if she cooperates.
Now, see here we get the flirty Catwoman with Batman, and that looks like on par and on brand with what Stanley Ralph Ross has been writing in the Catwoman episode. So that felt really natural, and that felt like it belonged. Where
Right.
some of the other scenes with Catwoman, Julie Newmar's doing her thing, and it's fine whenever she does her thing. I'm not going to complain about that. But it did seem like, sometimes it wasn't written as well. So or at least as consistently with that character.
I was kind of curious how the script was written and if Julie Newmar played it a little different.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, we talked about how in the first part we talked about how this script was one thing, and then they sort of had to wedge Catwoman in there due to some obligation or some reason or something, and it changed the whole script around. And then the Sandman had to be played by somebody else, and it just became kind of a mess. And there's times where in this episode, in both of these episodes, where you can see that. I still think that it's not terrible, but it does come across as clunky a few times. Particularly, like we said, the Sandman and Catwoman never really have a face off at the end, which would have been really cool to see them face off against each other. Catwoman going to scratch his eyes out or something like that, and him trying to put her to sleep or something, like take a cat nap or something like. Yeah, the jokes write themselves, right? So
Yep.
it would have been cool, but instead we don't get that. Instead, they're doing their own thing. I mean, so it's kind of unfortunate, but it is what it is. Oh, and by the
A-
way, we should also mention too that I don't know if you noticed this. Actually, I didn't. I kind of didn't reckon. I kind of noticed it, but I wasn't really sure. Is that uh, Catwoman in this whole two-parter never wears her mask.
I noticed
Um,
that. I did notice
yeah,
that.
this is the only two-parter featuring Catwoman where she does not wear her mask. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Maybe she misplaced it.
Well, I think, I think the script misplaced it.
After Kitty takes Batman to the maze, Catwoman and Catty try to flee, wanting to take the first flight to the Canary Islands. Her plans are foiled when Commissioner Gordon, Chief O'Hara, and the police arrive. Wherever there is a cat, there is a back alley.
Yeah. Chief O'Hara is like, now he kind of messes up a little earlier in this episode, right? Because he's fallen asleep but you know what? To his credit, he still can call the commissioner. Like he's not out cold. The other officers are out cold. And he has the wherewithal to actually call the commissioner and tell him that what happened. That Dr. Sonambula and the Sandman came and put them all to sleep. So he's actually on it there. And then not only does he and his squad arrive in a timely manner, which we hardly ever see,
I know.
but then he has that great line, wherever there's a Catwoman, there's usually a back alley. And I'm like, oh, that's all right, O'Hara, you go, boy. So yeah, the cops are showing that they're not all bad. They're not all incompetent.
Batman leads Robin and policewoman Mooney out of Catwoman's maze in no time.
Yeah, we don't know that. We just hear that from the narrator.
Yes.
Yeah,
wasting wasting no time, Batman and Robin take the Batmobile to the Batboat and head to J. Pauline Spaghetti's island.
yeah. The last
So
time we
it's
saw the Batboat was Walk the Straight and Narrow, which was earlier this season. Of course, after the movie, because it's the same stock footage that they use in the movie. This is the second and last time we will see the Batboat in the show.
oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah, sorry to bum you out, but yeah, this will be so enjoy it while it lasts. This is the last time we'll see the Batboat.
Even though they don't have to film any new footage for it.
Yeah, this is the same. It's the same footage over and over again. But yeah, so yeah, this is the last time you'll see that footage.
At the island, Sandman learns that J. Pauline Spaghetti had five husbands before him that all had mishaps at the factory that ended their lives.
Is it
That
five
ain't
or is it four? I thought she had five plaques, and then she has like she talks about her four previous husbands. He's the fifth.
Oh,
Uh,
maybe I was mistaken when I put that in my notes.
Yeah, they all had freak noodle related accidents.
Yes.
And I must
That
admit, this sequence was really fun. I think the woman who's playing Spaghetti, who we talked about in the first season, Spring Byington, does a really good job. And the scene is kind of chilling. And actually, Sandman, Michael Renee kind of sells it. And it really seems dark. It felt like I don't know if you're familiar with the writings and art style of Edward Gorey, who, oddly enough, would have been 100 this year. I'm a big fan of Edward Gorey, but he is twisted and dark and writes these books about like he's typically known for his alphabet books. There's one that he wrote about the Grizzly Crumb Teenies, which is about 26 kids, each dying a certain way, and they're all done in the style of like an alphabet. So one page is like A is for Albert, who died on like this way, and then B is for, Bobby, who died this way, and it's just really dark and upsetting, but it's also really really funny. It's this really dark, twisted humor. People who know Tim Burton probably would this is right in their wheelhouse. I'm sure Tim Burton was a big Edward Gorey fan, so it really kind of had that sort of Edward Gorey or even Alfred Hitchcock kind of dark humor element to it, which I thought was kind of fun. Especially since she's got the one plaque at the end that's blank, and she's like, "Oh, I'm just leaving that for, the future because that's what I expect will happen."
if I was Sandman, I'd be worried about marrying her.
Well, yeah, I mean, look at his face. He is kind of worried, so, but I think his intention is to do her in before she does him in. See, that would be an interesting concept too, like the two of them, kind of doing each other in or whatever. I mean, look, Spaghetti is not a murderess, at least we know of. I mean, yeah, sure, her four husbands had accidents. But maybe there's more to J. Pauline Spaghetti than we noticed. I don't think I mentioned this in the first part either, but I also discovered that when in the original script, J. Pauline was supposed Spaghetti was supposed to be J. Paul Spaghetti, because we mentioned how it was a riff on John Paul Getty, the millionaire, and it was supposed to be a male that was in that role. A male actor was supposed to do it, and instead they made it a female and they hired this woman. So yeah, that was a change that was made as well. So there was a lot of changes made too. So unfortunately, when I've seen interviews with the original screenplay writer Ellis St. Joseph, he's not very complimentary about this whole thing because his script, which he really really liked, and he said the producers really liked in the beginning, had so much potential, had so much promise and everything, was just kind of butchered and Catwoman's inserted in there. So I don't know. All we know is what we have to go on with the final result. I don't think it's terrible, but yeah, sometimes, like I said, it is kind of clunky. But I did like that scene.
Batman and Robin arrive and a fight ensues. Batman and Robin are able to dispatch Sandman and his henchmen. Holy sedative! J. Pauline Spaghetti has fallen asleep during the fight.
Yeah, I think I think it's been a while since we've had sort of a traditional just guys fighting in the warehouse. And there's one sort of weird moment too where Sandman kind of whistles and you think more guys are going to come out, but nobody else comes out. It's just the three of them. And it's all fun. I don't know if we've mentioned it before. Maybe we did in the first, the first season when we were reviewing it. It's been so long. But I'll tell you what, those punch sounds that are made, that whoever does that sound effect with the punch sound, that is just burned in my brain. I mean, I think that's what actually punching sounds like because I hear it so much, on this show. It just has a dynamic, if you pardon the pun, dynamic sound to it. It's just a like a loud punch, and I just yeah, it's so fun. And of course, in these sequences, you hear it over and over again. And it's just yeah, it's a pretty fun fight sequence.
Back at Wayne Manor, Aunt Harriet wants to learn what happened to Bruce and Dick in the mountains, but has been too busy planning. to put a maze in the front garden. Bruce explains how easy it is to navigate the maze and how they attract cats by the thousands and can induce sleepiness. Aunt Harriet decides to go back to her original idea, and Bruce states that would be more restful.
Yeah, it's kind of clunky. Now, here's the weird thing about this whole thing. I remember parts of this episode. In particular, I remember the maze stuff in this episode, but I remember it differently. Have you ever heard of a phenomenon called the Mandela effect?
Yes.
Okay. Well, a Mandela effect usually refers to a group of people collectively misremembering something. In this case, it's just me. So you can call it the Michaela effect or the Gordonella effect, because it's just maybe affecting my stupid memory. Because I remember that I remember Bruce and Dick coming out of a maze after being trapped in a maze. I remember Batman and Robin, not Bruce and Dick. They were dressed as Batman and Robin. In my brain, visually, I can see Bruce and Dick, or sorry, Batman and Robin coming out of the maze. And then Batman explaining to Robin that mazes are easy to solve. You enter, you turn to your left, and then you always keep right afterwards. That's how I remember that sequence. That's how I remember that. Now, in watching this episode, obviously that's not the way it plays out. We never see them come out of the maze. We never see Batman and Robin in the maze. And certainly at the end, Bruce says, that most mazes are based on a pretty much the same pattern. Upon entering, you turn to your left. Then on the first two occasions where you have a choice, you keep right. And then afterwards, you keep to your left. Now, I'm not a maze expert, so I have no idea if that's accurate. I have not tried it in any sort of way, shape, or form. So I don't know if that actually works. If that actually, I I I love this show, but if I were trapped in a maze, I don't know that I would try that. I mean, obviously, if I was trapped, I'd try anything, but I don't know how much I would think that, okay, I've got the solution, no problem. I'm confident. I'll go into that maze. Um, but I just find it odd that, my memory is such that I remember something completely different. So I don't know. Maybe if there's other people out there that remember the same thing, maybe I'm thinking of something else. I do know that there was a Batman animated series episode where they were stuck in a maze, but I think that was all like that the maze changed around. It was a Riddler episode, I think, and it had a Minotaur in it and all this kind of stuff. So I think that was quite different. So yeah, I just have my brain is just was making stuff up, I guess. So, but I've always kind of remembered that sort of theory about left and then right, keeping right in a maze. Not that I've ever used it because I've never really been in a maze scenario. So.
Hmm, interesting.
Every time you say that, I'm not sure if you are just humoring me.
No, but it is. I find the Mandela effects interesting because I've come across some things like that before. So
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, the most famous ones are, I think, the Berenstain Bears, where a lot of people misremember it. They think it's the Berenstain Band, the way it's spelled, it's different. Or the other one where a lot of people remember Sinbad being in a Shazam movie,
I
and
remember that.
it's not true. It's not, it's absolutely not true. Shaq was in a movie called Kazam where he played a genie,
Right.
but
I remember that.
that was not, but Sinbad was never in a genie movie. He was never in a movie called Shazam. He was never in that wasn't true at all. So, yeah, it's just one of those weird things that like a lot of people kind of collectively have these memories. But as I get older, I found that, I have a lot, I'm wrong about I misremember a lot of things. So I, it's just so strange though, because like I said, for the longest time, it wasn't just me like misremembering it recently. I've had that memory in my head as long as I can, recall, and I just don't know where that would have come from.
Who knows? Maybe we'll come across another episode where Batman and Robin are trapped in a maze.
I mean, it's not, they've repeated themselves almost a couple times, so maybe it's on the cards. Maybe that could happen. So I guess we'll see.
Guess we'll see. All right. Well, that wraps up another episode. Did you have a shout out, Mike?
I do. This past weekend, I had the pleasure, the honor of not only attending, but I'm actually a participant. I'm actually a track director for the convention here called Monsterama, which was held just this past weekend, this first weekend of August, at the Atlanta Marriott Century Center, and we had a great time. We had a Serling where we celebrated 100 years of Rod Serling, the work of Rod Serling. So a lot of Twilight Zone related panels and guests. We had Anne Serling, who is Rod Serling's daughter. She appeared, and a lot of other great guests as well. And I'm the track director for the literature, art, and comics track, so I'm programming there. I appeared on a few panels myself, and it was just a lot of fun. It was one of our biggest and well attended Monsteramas that we've ever had. I've had the pleasure of being involved with almost all the Monsteramas, but at least the last like four or five directly. And it's a small show, but it's very intimate, but it's also just really, really fun. If you like retro sci-fi, retro classic horror, it is a con that you should definitely look at and add to your schedule. They've already announced that next year, it will be held August 7th through the 9th at the same hotel, the Atlanta Marriott Century Center. And I encourage everybody to come out and check it out. It is right before Dragon Con. But unlike Dragon Con, it's not a huge like Dragon Con is like 60 to 70,000 people and Monsterama, we're not near that big. We're not even close. But it's a very great show and I definitely encourage people to check it out. So I give a lot of thanks to everybody involved, all the volunteers, certainly Suzanne and Anthony, who are the co-chairs, as well as everybody who attended. It's just a wonderful weekend, and I'm glad to be part of it.
All right. And for my shout out, I'm going to go kind of crazy here because since we had a Catwoman episode and a Sandman sleepy episode, we're going to wake you up with a screaming goat.
I don't hear any screaming.
You did? Oh, yeah. Might help if I put it in the microphone.
I still can't hear it.
Still can't hear it. Wow, that's
No,
weird. Let me try it one more time.
we'll have to edit in post.
Could you hear it at all?
Nope.
Yeah. Well, so much for the screaming goat. That's a stress reliever for work. Hit the old
Gotcha.
screaming goat. Yeah, you're
Gotcha.
right. We're gonna have
Well,
to put it in post.
I am definitely familiar with screaming goats. So yes, I definitely know how loud that those could be.
All right. If you'd like to comment on anything we've talked about tonight, you can reach us at our feedback line 317-455-8411. Text us, leave us a message, or you can email us at batchumspodcast@gmail.com. And you can let us know any Mandela effects you guys have come across, especially if they're Batman related.
Absolutely.
All right. You ready to get out of here, Bat Chum?
Bat chums are ready to move out.
Atomic batteries to power, turbines to speed. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Keep your hats on. The worst is yet to come.